Hi there, this is Amanda Frankel with our Crafty Playdate, and this is video number 2 of our series on Fresh as a Daisy. We are using the Fresh as a Daisy Designer Series paper, and we are using this sheet in particular. Today we are using this. Video 1 shows you how to cut this apart, so be sure you watch that one first because you're going to need to know. Otherwise, you're going to be doing some crazy little Y-seam type things here. So be sure that you watch that video first, and I'll give you some pointers. We're doing this card first. So we're going to use this piece. I'm going to put the rest away. I'm saving them all because we are definitely going to be using all of them. Well, I think we're using most of them. In any case, this is the piece we're using. Once I cut it from the panel, once I cut it from this panel here, I didn't make any additional cuts. So it's not trimmed down or anything. It should be full on in all its glory. This is the one we're using. We are only using, for all of these cards that I just showed you, we are only using one stamp set. Let's see. It's called Sending Smiles, and I misplaced it. So, oh, here it is. Here it is. And we're using the dies from Sending Smiles occasionally. I think we're just using a couple of the dies, maybe just one, actually, of the dies. We're using a punch. So it's so simple. All right, let's get started. We are using this panel. We are also using a wheat base. So this wheat is called, yeah, I'm not really sure. It will be in the description below, but it is something wheat, and it's one of our new in colors. And the way I picked these colors, and I did not like this color at first. I will be honest with you, did not like it, but love this card. So then I kind of was okay with it after all. It is one of our new in colors. We get 5 a year, and so you definitely want to check that out. The next thing we're using is a panel of early espresso, and that panel is actually going to just be a standard panel. So it is 4 by 5 1/4. So that's pretty easy. It goes right on there. This panel is just going to go right on top. So it actually doesn't have much of a peekaboo at the top or bottom, just really on the sides. I'm going to go ahead and glue these pieces together first. I don't know why, just because I am. That's how it's going to be. Sometimes it's just better not to ask me. I've got 100 glues, and those are both not even open. Okay, so let's get started here. We're going to glue this panel. This back color is pretty too. This is one of our in colors too. This is, well, you know what? I don't even know the names of these colors now. I'm going to have to look them up, but it's some kind of mauve. Something mauve. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that panel on there. Just kind of center it as best I can. So easy, right? Now I'm going to glue this panel on here. No dimensionals on this part at all. All right, so when you cut these panels, the espresso one, because it's a standard panel and you're cutting it out of an 8.5 by 11, there's a little math here, so follow me. If you have, let's grab one and show you what I mean. Okay, if you have, this is Lemon Lolly, an 8.5, so it's 8.5 by 11, and you're going to cut some standard panels, and let's just say you want to make 4 of these cards because they're gorgeous, or 4 cards in general. You are going to, for panels, you're just going to cut a 1/2 inch off here and a 1/2 inch off here, and then you're going to cut this piece. So now it's going to be 10.5 by 8, and half of 10.5 is 5 1/4, or sorry, yeah, 5 1/4, and then 4. Half of 8 is 4. So you'll have 4 pieces, and then you'll have a long 1/2 inch and a short 1/2 inch. Those 1/2 inch pieces, those are not waste pieces. I'll show you why in this actual card. This piece right here is punched from those little skinny 1/2 inch pieces. I'm going to use up these 1/2 inch pieces, so I'm not really wasting anything. You're going to see. But I punched twice. I punched it with this punch. I believe that this punch may possibly be retired. I will list it below, but I will list a similar punch that you could use instead if you wanted to. It's some kind of a label punch. It's great, but maybe retired. I'll let you know. I punched it out of the basic white, and then I also punched it once out of the espresso. Now it looks a lot like, the espresso one is sticking out of the ends, but they're the same size. So what did I do here? I'm going to show you. First, I'm going to stamp it just in case I make a mistake, because, yeah, that never happens, right? All right, so that's Early Espresso ink, and I am using the Note of Thanks stamp. Excuse me. Note of Thanks, kind of center it best I can without putting my head in the camera. See how it looks. Okay, good enough. All right, so if I didn't love it, I would still have the opportunity to chase it off my camera here with my hand. I'd have the opportunity to flip it over and stamp again, but it worked out just fine. And now I'm going to take this piece that I've already punched. I'm just going to cut it in half. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this side, and I'm only going to do one side at a time. If I do both at a time, I have a tendency to be crazy. So I just slid it. I kept my fingers on the edge of the white piece. See how I did that? I kept my fingers on the edge of the white piece and just slid the brown piece in there. And the reason that I did that is if I just try to glue it on straight, it's not going to be straight and you're going to see it sticking out of the edges. But if I hold that and just slide it in, you're not going to see it, okay? And now I'm going to do the same thing. A little bit of glue back here. So I'm gluing on the white, not on the brown. If I glue on the espresso, there's a good chance that I'm going to put it in the wrong place, and then it's going to show. I'm going to hold the white on the edges, and I'm just going to slide that to where I want it. And I want enough. I'm going to try and make them kind of even here. I want enough, and this is the beauty of the liquid glue. I have an opportunity to slide it a little before it sets. I'm going to let that set up for just a second. If it's shifting a little and you're seeing the corners sticking out like this, you just squeeze the edges again. Not squeeze, but just put your fingers on the edges until it sets. Okay, there is my little sentiment. I'm going to close this before I put my hand in it. And I am using these. So I have them cut apart, but they come in a pack with gold little pearls and silver little pearls, all in one pack. And I love them. I use them for everything. It's just nice. Generally speaking, I like to color my pearls using my blend markers, my alcohol markers, but these gold and silver are just so handy. And I'm putting one gold one here. And as I said, they do come with silver in a pack too. I just cut them apart. I probably used the silver in some Christmas card or something, and now I've still got the gold. And we're going to actually use quite a few of these gold ones in our cards. So be sure that you get some. All right, there's that. And now all I need is a couple of dimensionals. Tricks with dimensionals. All right. With dimensionals, these are the normal dimensionals, and then we also have baby mini dimensionals. Not that. These. Well, you can hardly see them, but they're baby mini dimensionals. I use both all the time, but remember that you can go all the way to the edges of these. All the parts, not just the little hexagons, I'm going to go to here. I'm just cutting it apart and cutting it right here. And then this piece that's really an edge, it's not a hexagon at all, I'm going to use that on the back of this. Look at how easy that was, right? Oh my goodness, so simple. Note of thanks. It's going to go right here on my flowers. And this card is done. I probably am going to add a standard panel of white. And remember, you know what I did? When I made my standard panel of white, I kept those 1/2 inch pieces, and that's where I punched that from. Okay, so be sure that you don't throw anything away. All right, this is getting glued in here. This card is ready for me to write a very nice note of thanks and drop it in the mailbox. All right, so this was video 2, number 2 of 8, I believe. 7 cards and the first one that shows you how to cut it all apart. Be sure that you start with video 1 so that you can see how to cut them apart, and then pop back because I'm going to show you how to use all those pieces without even trimming them down. You saw how quick and easy that was. We'll see you soon with another video. If you don't have a demonstrator of your own, I would love to be yours. You can click on any of the items in the below descriptions, and it will connect with everything that I'm using in this entire series every time, so that you can get it all from just one video, and you will be all set. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have a great day. Bye-bye.